How you doing, Aries? Okay, so let's get right into this. Do a Celtic cross for Aries. Any messages for Aries? Ooh, Aries. First card out is the most powerful. Feeling betrayed. Feeling like done on so many levels. Backstabbed. I don't know. What made you feel like this, Aries? What's crossing you? I feel like this has been a long-standing relationship or job situation or family or romantic situation. Holy moly, that was scary how that came out. I don't even understand it. So, it's been a long time situation, a long time entanglement with somebody in particular. Possibly with a Capricorn or somebody within their chart. But this has been something really, really negative, a really negative attachment, something that has to do with control, power, fear, addictions, codependency. Your foundation is the Magician. Now, you could have Capricorn within your chart, or you just have a really negative attachment, a really negative relationship that you're completely done with. Like, you close the karmic circle on this, and you don't want to let the door back in onto anything that was so completely negative and toxic. And like, this person who you're dealing with, like, they hurt you a lot, many times, and it must be a family member or a work situation or even a long-standing relationship or marriage, something that you can't leave, and there's some kind of holding situation or shared space that's not so easy to leave, like that entanglement. That's, this isn't someone that's like a casual friendship. The foundation, the causes of your situation, physical and emotional needs, plus your subconscious desires. The causes of your situation is you're trying to manifest something really, really amazing, something that, you feel like you have a special gift for, but it's something that you've been trying to work on for a very long time. And you're done with people trying to get in the way of that, trying to control you, trying to steer you in a different direction that that's not right for you. Perhaps these people have influenced you in many different ways and threw you off track, and in those ways you allowed it because you let yourself be swayed by their doubts of you, by their second guessing of you and your ability and what you could do, and it made you second guess yourself. And not only did they betray you by not believing in you or by undermining your confidence to the point that you don't have a lot of confidence to do the things that you dream of, but it was their lack of belief in you and people that you had a lot of belief in them, and their words held a lot of weight with you, enough that it did throw you off track, and it made you second guess yourself in fear. And what their foundation is, you're cutting that off. You're done with it. You're done with negativity and the negative energies that people try to put on you. And you don't want anyone around trying to oppress you or throw you off track. You're manifesting something really, really big. And you don't want anyone to stand in the way of that. Maybe that person or situation, it had a toxic hold on you. And because they had a lot to lose with you moving on or going your own way or working on what you need to do. And part of it was trying to keep you where you are, to stop you from progressing, because maybe you gave them good supply or you were beneficial for them in some way. And in the past you did put out a lot of energy into this people or situation to the point that you depleted yourself and you couldn't manifest on the things that you wanted to do. And so you're done with it. You broke away. The past, the Emperor, possibly with somebody with Aries in their chart as well. But it's someone who's very controlling, who can be a tyrant, I would say a CEO or boss, but the way that this is all coming out with the Devil and the Magician, this was someone who abused their power, whether it was a parent or an older sibling or a boss in general who wasn't looking out for your best interest and used the people beneath them for their benefit, and who wanted to keep their thumb on you and over you in order to still continue to collect the benefits that you were giving. Perhaps this was a really controlling parent or a boss or even a husband even. But this person was abusive and controlling and cruel. And they cared less about your happiness and your well-being than what they wanted or what was beneficial for them. And that was the big betrayal, that this person, possibly a parent or someone or a husband, but this was someone that you thought should have cared for you, and that's how you kept on going in and getting fooled, I suppose, or staying within control. Perhaps this person used guilt or aggression, passive aggressiveness or fears, kind of like this mental control over you, chipping away at your confidence, gaslighting you for so long that, when you came out of it, you started to second guess your sanity or your competence. But of course they could see your competence, they could see your how beneficial you are and how much you do, because that's why they wanted to keep you down and hold you in place. But this wasn't a healthy situation or relationship at all. This was coercive control. It could have been a controlling father or mother, and I'm seeing a parent or boss here, but you're done with it. You don't want anyone to get involved or get in your way ever again, because you're moving forward with passion. And despite all of the things that they put in your head to keep you stuck, Maybe you're putting an end to all this negative self-talk, and this person or people like them have been putting this in your head for so long that it did keep you stuck and it kept you afraid. But now you're moving forward, ready to manifest your will into the universe using tangible means. And this Emperor, they did know your power. And it's not like they didn't. That's why they put so much time and energy into chipping away at you. It's like clipping the bird's wings in order for it to never fly away again. Perhaps this person reached out to you or try to give you some kind of offer, if it's a job, to try to get you to return or stay from leaving. Or perhaps this person reached out to you to try to give you some kind of tangible offer or offer to work with them again in some way. But it's like with all the awful things that they did to you, they still wanted what they wanted, and they so conveniently forget all of the things that they have done to you when they reached out to want something again or ask for something. And that's the biggest betrayal of them all, is the fact that they didn't even realize it or remember it. I was watching one of my psych videos, like Dr. Ramini, about narcissistic abuse, because I have a few in my life. And she was reading out old proverbs, and one was an African proverb, and it says, the axe will forget, but the tree will remember. It's like perfect for like an abusive narcissist who kind of used you for whatever they could from you. And each time they used you and treated you like crap, they so conveniently forget when they need something again and they want to work with you again. You know, it's like they conveniently forget because the axe forgot, but the tree remembers. Because the tree is the one that got hurt, and the axe was the one that just swung away. But you can't blame an axe for being an axe if it's in their nature, and you can't change anybody for how they are. And if they'll see, all you can do is change your reaction towards them, and or your reaction from whatever comes at you from people like this. And part of that reaction is having boundaries. You know, if you let people that you know that's non-trustworthy, who kind of uses you, who treats you badly, who gaslights you, then it's really your responsibility to keep those boundaries up in order for them to not put a full 10 swords in you, right? Instead of just that one. But this is why I think it was like such a strong entanglement. Like they used possibly money and possibly support that you possibly needed, that you couldn't just leave. And that's how they stuck you so many times. Because otherwise an Aries would just never sit there and take it forever. Unless there was something that in particular that they had over you. Maybe they used you, they used money to control you, or that support to control you. But maybe they came back and offered you something, like in particular for something else. But you know that if you let these people back in, then it definitely blocks your abundance. And you did what you could for yourself, was to guard yourself from people who are committing to mistreating you. But your future, what is just before you, you got abundance, you got money, you got wealth, possibly a new job offer, possibly a financial offer, possibly a business that has like generational wealth, family wealth. But you got some big tangible abundance coming in, because it looks like whatever karmic situation this was, like you wrapped it up. And whether it's by keeping that negative talk that they put in your head, or those before them did, and that negative talk and negative thoughts about yourself and fears that you can't do it. But it's realizing that it was an inner critic from people like this that was continually surrounded you and spoke that into you, but you don't have to keep it. You don't have to own that. You don't have to own anyone's opinion over you and about you, because usually when they have a strong feeling towards you, it really tells a lot more about them than it does you. Now, how you see yourself, 3 of Cups, your personal strengths and weaknesses, an individual perspective of you. Well, you feel like you're celebrating possibly a reunion of some sorts, or a celebration, or cheersing an end of one cycle into another. You, family and loved ones mean a lot to you, and they always have. And you don't want to get sidetracked by other people's negativity and other people's tasks than it is to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And instead of having everyone throw all of their crap on you to do, and while they were sitting pretty and you were out there trying to overcompensate for where they were not compensating for themselves. And perhaps this became a pattern for you, that you became the fixer and you became the go-to person, and maybe you got a sick sense of self-worth by it, feeling that you have to overdo in order to feel loved or needed, because that's the way that people treated you. And you're no longer accepting of that position anymore, because now it's your turn to shine. You are going to have a reunion of some sorts, or a cycle of celebration and happiness, a coming together, possibly of a new soulmate. 2 of Cups. Your environment, your home, your surroundings, family, loves, friends, work, that which is outside of yourself, and how others perceive you. Somebody sees you as a soulmate. Somebody wants to get your attention. They feel quite taken by you, Aries. They feel a very strong pull towards you, and they want to reconnect with you. Your hopes and fears of attaining the goal, the lesson to be learned, blocking your development. Your hopes and fears, the sun. This is your hopes that now it's your turn to be happy. Now it's your turn to live your life without the fear of judgment and criticism that keeps chipping away at you. It's seeing a new perspective and having an awakening of how much energy and rejuvenation and vibrance that you have when you release all the heaviness that other people put upon you. And I think that you feel it when you have these sort of people around you, that heaviness that you feel, that anxiety, that anxiousness. And now you feel it lifting when you are starting to give back to yourself and go for your dreams and trust in the universe and trust in yourself. And you're coming into some great abundance and a soulmate. And a new awakening, possibly a Leo or someone with Pisces or Virgo or Aries. There's Capricorn here. But you're going towards your happiness. You may be going through an awakening. Of course, we have many in our lives. You are going to be a lot more perceptive, and you're going to be able to see the intentions of people around you, or as you're about to see a sense of optimism that you haven't seen for a very, very long time. Eight of Cups, the outcome, what you'll gain from this experience, the reward, the quality or tool that will help you achieve a breakthrough. Walking away, it'll learn. This will teach you on how to walk away from emotional entanglements, people who try to emotionally manipulate you, or to no longer invest in emotional entanglements or relationships or situations that don't fulfill you, because you don't want to be resentful or apathetic or angry. You want to be happy, and you're no longer staying still while someone just pokes a bunch of knives in your back. Now you learn boundaries. You learn when to walk away, and you learn to let go of the things that don't serve you, that don't fulfill you. And this could be anybody that you're dealing with, any, like negative parent, or toxic job, but you're no longer working with this person. And although you are ready to move into the light, I still feel that there's a sense of sadness of the things that you are leaving behind as what things should have been like, or how things could have been if only, and that's that word, if only. But those are those questions that you always gave to yourself that made you stick around longer. Because what's the point of saying if only, or maybe it'll get better, or if you're in hell? You're done being controlled. You're done being manipulated and ruled over like you're some kind of slave. And it's because they saw your gifts, is why they try to snuff it out. But you're going forward and there's nothing that's going to stop you. You look at that, the Fool. This is you, Aries. You're all over this place. In the past, you're standing up for yourself as well. You're all in here. You might have Capricorn within your chart. Strong Aries and Leo and Virgo and Pisces. But possibly Jupiter in the 12th, but you're stepping out to something amazing, and you are being gifted in such a big way for learning this lesson and closing this chapter, because this person or the situation possibly reached out to you to continue it on, but you're like, no, I can't continue to put myself within a continuous soul death by being somewhere and benefiting people who don't have the best intentions for you. I'm seeing such fire here and vibrancy. You're going to get a rush of energy, and it's going to help you to go. It's time to leave behind people, places, and things that don't serve you. You're getting a new perspective of yourself. You're going through a new awakening. And maybe the reason why you stayed as long as you did is because you had a sense of a fear even of being happy. Because you're like, oh, that's not true. How can I be unhappy? You know, how can I be afraid of being unhappy? But you'd be surprised on if you look back in your life and see how you self-sabotage yourself in certain ways. You know, not preparing the night before, or forgetting to set the alarm on a really important day. And usually it's those things that you're dragging to get yourself to and that you don't really want to do, but it's that unconscious, you know, that, and maybe it's the things that you unconsciously didn't want to do and the things that you consciously really wanted that you found yourself self-sabotaging and keeping yourself stuck out of fear and second guessing yourself and a lack of confidence. But you know right now that this is the time to go through, this is the time to step through that door, because the light is shining, Aries. Because after you walk away, sure, it'll be bittersweet. You can grieve of the things that were lost and should have been. But you know that tinge of sadness, but also that tinge of anxiety and fear of what's before you, and without support, will I be able to do this? But you will. because you're giving it to God, you're trusting in spirit, and you're about ready to go on a journey, stepping off that mountain and trusting spirit to catch you and to guide you. And it's going to be a whole new life cycle. And I see it. This is like the portal to that Lionsgate portal. You're walking through into the sunlight. And it'll be amazing. I mean, this is a fool's journey right here, Aries. And there's somebody here that is totally enamored with you and wants to get to know you, and and I don't know who that is, but I think it has amazing potential. Just don't self-sabotage. Don't let your fear of happiness or failure stop you from going towards your life path, because the only other option that you have is staying in hell and having a state of soul death, continuous soul death. But let's get some advice for you, Aries. You can be having a lot of synchronicities or seeing lights or orbs. New life. Oh my God. Between worlds. Yin. So you got a new life ahead of you, and you're being gifted right now. It's a holding period, so buckle down, take care of what you need to do, be okay with the in-between, because it's not the destination, it's the journey. And enjoy the day-to-day, celebrate and enjoy the fruits of your labor. And it's not by overdoing like you've done so many times before, because you think that you're unlovable or that's what you have to do for people to love you. It's about allowing and receiving. Having that yin energy is now it's your time to receive. You're having a new life ahead of you, and it's going to lead you towards a soulmate. This is awesome, Aries. Oh my God. One more. By the book in reverse. Okay, so when you meet this soulmate, don't do what you usually do by self-sabotaging or going into this too quickly and impulsively. It's time to allow people to show you how invested they are. Because maybe you've gone into relationships or situations before and you've rushed into things to find out they weren't so invested as you thought they were, or perhaps they took you for granted because you are so loving and generous that they assume that you're like that with everyone, and they don't understand that it's a sacred part of you that once you give it, That's a part of you where you don't show to everybody. And perhaps you've went into relationships that felt very familiar to you, about people who just try to come in and out quickly and kind of take what they want and leave. But this time it's going to be different. And it's important not to let your fear of happiness or your fear of loss or your fear of not being good enough get in the way of your happiness. Because this is meant for you. You deserve it. You are lovable, and this is a gift for all that you've done and you've put into yourself and the people that loved and appreciated you too, which it ended up, unfortunately, a lot less than you would have liked it to. But now it's your time to receive. Go into this slowly but optimistically. And maybe you've had trust issues before, but it's good to be cautiously optimistic. Because if you rush into something too quickly, then you could blow out that fire. It's important to get to know each other and to be able to let go and not to be over controlling or possessive. Be receiving and accepting, but release control of the outcome, because you got something amazing ahead of you, and it's not going to be the same thing as it has. This isn't going to be, the usual. This is going to be something good for once, I think. And this Lionsgate opening is going to bring you a whole new life cycle. And I don't know what dasha you're coming in, but this is gonna be amazing. Orphaned. This is this feeling underneath. A feeling that is your unconscious. It's important that you don't let this fear of abandonment or sadness of not being loved or nourished by those that you really loved and nourished, and all they ever did was put bad thoughts of you inside your own head to be able to keep you there, because they cared more about what they wanted than your happiness. And I'm not going to say that it didn't hurt you, or even if you don't want to admit it. And maybe this is this core feeling that you have underneath that makes you afraid to really invest in somebody or trust somebody. And it's that untrust and suspiciousness that kind of drives people away, or it drives people away from you, that you intentionally or unintentionally try to drive people away from you, because you're afraid if you invest too much, then it'll hurt more when they leave. But this time, you know, it's important that you put that to rest because you are lovable. And it's important not to put negative thoughts and fear of the unknown and catastrophe thinking or negative thinking to put a damper on something that will be really amazing if you just allow yourself to receive for once. But you went through a lot of pain and rejection in your life. Just know that it was meant to mold you into the person that you needed to be, to truly know yourself and come into your being so you can go towards your life purpose. And it was karmically set in order for you to become your true potential. And it's time for you to let go of these old limiting beliefs about yourself and about your gifts and abilities, to be able to accept this love, because if you still have this at your core, you're going to self-sabotage all the gifts that you have coming for you. But that's what I got for you, Aries. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe, comment below, or donate below if you feel moved to do so. And sometimes I leave extra notes on the bottom that come up to me. But I'll be seeing you later, Aries. Much love and light to you, and bye.